Okay. Hi, Ruben. Because I'm giving a presentation about GraphQL, I'm wondering, do you think it's useful to use GraphQL for single-page applications?
Yes, of course. I think using the GraphQL backend will be very useful for the single-page applications. My question is for Álvaro. Basically, after the Angular 2 profile, and which is the next profile that you're working in?
So the next profile we're going to work with, I don't think it's going to be Angular 4, as Ruben said, but I think, so we'll already have in progress some work with an Angular 2 scaffolding, which we used to have for Angular 1. We may introduce new profiles, like for instance, we've been thinking about expanding the number of profiles we have for the JavaScript ecosystem. We have one for React, which has been popular, and we may also do something in the future for things like, for instance, Spring Cloud or Docker or things like that. But generally speaking, the profile for this is something we would like the community to get involved with. So it's something we're looking for contributions. I have a question for Bart Beckwith. He's been talking about GORM in the latest conferences. So I would like to know your opinion on GORM 6.1. I think compared with like the original GORM implementation, it's got quite a lot of changes and improvement. So I would like to know what do you think about it. Thanks.
So, to be honest, I haven't paid all that much attention to the new features in GORM 6.1, but I've certainly seen a lot of them. And I think the one that's most exciting for me is the concept of the data services. And it's actually quite similar to some features that are in Spring Boot. For example, creating DAOs just by defining an interface without even defining the implementation. And under the hood, Spring Boot will create an instance of the interface and wire up all the methods for you, and it even supports dynamic finders, which is kind of cool. And it's fascinating because that is something that we've had in Grails and in GORM forever, but now they've sort of stolen that idea in Spring Boot. Well, what they've done in GORM 6.1 is we have these new data services, which are very similar to those same features in Spring Boot, but it's actually done much more intelligently. So I was just talking to Graham about this earlier, that it's statically checked. So if you create a dynamic finder, but you mistype one of the property names and it doesn't correspond to a property in the domain class, it'll fail at startup instead of failing at runtime. And it's the implementation, instead of using Spring proxies, which is heavyweight and problematic, it uses AST transformation, so it's much more efficient and a lot smarter. So you get sort of the best of both worlds. You get the cool features, you get really easy declarations, and under the hood it's implemented in a really cool way. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Graham's talk and learning a lot more about all the cool new features in GORM 6.1. It's a very, very exciting release. So Sasha, I have a question for you. What would you say are the benefits and reasons to use JavaFX instead of Swing?
So, yeah, you asked what is if JavaFX is better than Swing, but I think it is in many ways it is better. One of them is the drawing model below, where it's more the way how it's done in 3D and other graphical engines, where you have the scene graph that is painted in a hierarchical way. That gives other problems, but aside from that, it's more flexible, it's more easy to use. And the other thing is that we have better support, native support, for example, for touch screens, and as well it's a kind of changing in the minds of the developers, using binding all over the place and having a much cleaner way to develop. And I think it's the future. So my question to Mario is, do you think that GraphQL will change the relationship or make it better, the relationship between front-end and back-end developers?
Okay, Sasha. I don't think it will solve all the problems, but I think front-end developers will be a lot happier using GraphQL than other solutions. That's what I think.